Elise waited with bated breath to see how Zach would react. Zach smiled, but it didn't reassure Elise at all.
Yes, I'm her cousin. Delighted to meet you.
Zach approached Elise and wrapped her in an embrace. Henry stared at Zach. He was holding Elise way more closely than what he would expect from a cousin, and he seemed weirdly domineering. The taxi driver honked.
I have to get home tonight too, sir. I forgot the taxi was waiting outside. I should go before he leaves altogether.
Elise gave Henry a quick hug. Henry smiled and stepped back.
I will. See you at work tomorrow.
Henry left the apartment and closed the door behind him. Zach and Elise stood in awkward silence, with Zach staring at Elise and Elise refusing to meet his gaze.
So, is Henry an old friend of yours?
Yes, our grandfathers knew each other. They ran in the same circles of art restoration. Elise crossed into the kitchen and started making herself a cup of tea when it seemed that Zach didn't want to leave. Here, if you're gonna stay, you can have some tea. Zach accepted the mug, but immediately set it down on the counter. He grabbed Elise's shoulders and moved in for a kiss. The kiss felt passionate. Zach pulled back and stared deeply into Elise's eyes.
Do you do this with your other cousins?
She shrugged and took a sip of her tea. He looked at her earnestly.
Do you regret marrying me?
No, I don't regret choosing you.
But I couldn't walk. You were really okay with having to take care of me?
Where is this coming from? Has something else happened? Zach shook his head, but remained otherwise silent. You helped my family so much, Zach, but it's not about the money. It's about the consideration and care you showed me in return for the love and care I showed you. That's why I married you.
So you feel grateful then, but nothing more?
Did you not listen to anything I said? I loved you, you idiot.
Loved, past tense. You don't love me now.
Because you asked me about our marriage, I said it in the past tense. I still love you, but you're creating problems where they don't need to exist. Well, are you gonna take that? Zach winced, but answered the call. Delaney's voice was shrill on the other end of the phone. Zach, are you with Elise? Why did you leave me alone?
Delaney, you are fine. The doctor gave you a Band-Aid that we could have bought from the drugstore.
A noise like a gunshot could be heard from Delaney's end. Zach gripped the phone tightly.
Delaney? Delaney?
There was no answer.
I'm gonna go check on her.
I may live to regret this, but I'm coming with you. Elise and Zach entered the apartment, and Elise tripped over a vase near the entrance. Zach shook his head. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. It looks like I knocked this over.
Don't touch it. It'll hurt your hands. I'll do it.
Do you think Delaney's here?
I think so. Let's find her once we pick this up.
You aren't worried about Delaney? I'm not even her friend, and I was a little worried.
You're too good a person to be real, Elise. You're so compassionate.
But do you mean that as a compliment? Oftentimes when people say I'm a good person, I feel like what they're really saying is that I'm boring. Elise and Zach looked up to see Delaney run out of the apartment and slam the front door. I wonder how much of that she heard.
I should go after her.
Zach left the apartment just in time to see Delaney hop into the back of a car and speed away into the night. Racing away inside her sports car, Delaney called a number. Mom, can I come over? Sweetheart, it's late. Is everything okay? I'm just upset and need to talk. Sure, you always know you're welcome at home. The car pulled up to the stately Upper East Side penthouse owned by Delaney's family. Linda regarded her with concern. Is your hand hurt? It's just a cut, but I had Zach take me to the hospital. He loves taking me to the hospital. Saving women is a huge turn-on for him, so I make sure he has opportunities. While we were there, one of his assistants called and said that Elise was in a car with some guy he'd been stalking, and he just left me there. Delaney paced furiously and threw a sofa pillow across the room before continuing. What if something had actually been wrong with me? He's supposed to be divorcing Elise so he can be with me, but leaving me alone in a sick room so he can go follow her to her sad Brooklyn walk-up makes me question his commitment. You are a rare diamond, Delaney, and that girl is a piece of fool's gold at best. He'll divorce her, you'll see. This is your fault. You're the one who made me leave him when he was hurt. Now Elise took care of him, and his whole family thinks she's some kind of saint, and I think you might actually love her. Pull yourself together. If he had stayed injured, would you have wanted to live the rest of your life as his nursemaid? Of course not. You deserve better than that. He'll understand. Linda fluffed the couch pillows and changed topics. Did Elise accept the check you brought her? No, she said she didn't need it, practically threw the check in my face. She's apparently this crazy talented art restorer. Did Zach tell you that? No, I looked her up, Mom. Her grandfather was some kind of legend in the art world, and I saw some of her work. It was annoyingly good. How much money can she possibly make at that job? A lot, Mom. You've been to enough auctions to know how much art sells for. Sometimes classic paintings can be hundreds of millions of dollars. Does Zach admire her work? He loves it. He has one of her paintings in his apartment by the entrance. It was a John Singer Sargent copy she did, and it looked amazing. I hate her. Well, if that's what he admires about her, this will be a simple operation. What operation? What would be simple? She can't paint without hands, now can she? As I said, simple. I'm gonna make some calls. Delaney's eyes widened with horror as her mother shuffled out of the room. She didn't actually want to hurt Elise, not physically. She didn't want to hurt anyone. She just wanted a relationship with her childhood sweetheart, one of the first people to ever see her as an individual, outside her family's shadow, and make her feel special. She didn't like violence, which was part of the reason she'd been so shocked when Chloe punched her in the face. Now her mother was going to maybe hire goons to break Elise's hands? A pit of dread formed in Delaney's stomach. What had she done?
Hi, I am Elise. I hope you are enjoying the show after the divorce. If you are wondering what happens next, click on the link in the description to listen to the full audio series. You can also watch the next episode here in the playlist.